great. So hi
my
community, hi Tara. So
Oh my gosh.
back. Yes.
Oh, so how you doing? Your class sounded awesome.
Yes, thank you for asking. Yes, I was exciting because I knew we were going to chat and I knew this technical stuff is completely new. So I was
Yeah.
kind of excited and I'm like, okay, now I have this relaxed class and people they were just mirroring this calmness, and since it's only online, it's very calm. And so during this flow, the people, they leave their cameras on. I'm very grateful for that.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
it feels very live.
Yeah.
How it is. And so yeah, we were like very calm together, and then in the end I was sitting and I'm like, okay, I'm ready for everything now. But then the technical stuff just messed it up, but it's okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But it's how it is. I don't know. I have never done this Facebook event before and then adding another person, but now we're on Zoom. So yeah, we can
easy.
chat now and people will see this then, and then it's fine,
cool.
I guess.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry
yeah,
for everything.
Oh my gosh. It's so good to see you. I've been thinking about you lots, and oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it would just be cool if it's all right just to ask you, you know, because I know it's been a different timeline in a way with Europe and then with us, with kind of the beginning of the pandemic. It was sort of two different worlds in a way. It seemed like you guys were, you know, still kind of doing classes in a way. You had a shutdown before in a way with Italy and things like that. And then we kind of went hard to shut down in like February, March. And it just seems like so long ago now, like all these months and months and months. But can you just maybe share a little bit about, you know, how you felt when that all started, and maybe what you were focusing on and what you did with yourself and your family and your community to kind of, you know, take good care of yourself and also just stay connected and things?
Yes, yeah, good question. It's a huge question at the same time, because this period, even though it seems as if it's short, it is still so immense and so packed, full of emotions, full of roller coaster rides mentally in my eyes. And in the beginning, when Corona started, I remember I even wrote you a message. I remember that, and I'm like, okay, I have to close the studio. What now? So because I felt so lost, I have never been into this online thing, doing yoga online. I plan to do it, but I always thought, okay, no, I have to start perfectly and I have to be perfect from the beginning on. And so I was afraid to start because I thought, okay, like now we had this issue on Facebook, you never have a second chance because life is life.
Yeah.
And if you mess it up, it's in the internet. And it's there.
Right.
And so, you know, it was, so, but I mean, it's not the biggest problem, of course, that I had when Corona started, that we all had. It's not the online sessions, but when Corona began, you named it, there was this different parts of the world and everything seems to be so far away, and people and politicians and people, they said, oh, it's not that a big deal, So we were like, really? And then it just came, and then it was very shocking, and the emotional roller coaster ride was so there that you really had to choose your islands where you can calm down and just to soothe yourself and to become calm again, because otherwise you would freak out, because it's on the news all the time, it's people talking about it all the time. So until now, to sum this period up a little bit, it's been a ride and it's still a ride, but I think we all now know how to behave, how to react, how to handle things. So I don't say it's a new normal, because in my eyes, it's not the right word. It's still so frightening and so terrifying. So many people suffer, but you know, you feel more, okay, now we can handle this situation the best we can do. Yeah.
Well, just, I mean, looking at you from, you know, just chatting with you online and things like that, it kind of, you came to my mind as somebody, you know, I mean, you've always been really a stable person to me. You know, I can go to you with my problems because I know, I don't know if this is how you feel about yourself, but I know like, oh, I can go and talk to Joanna and she's gonna, you know, be that rock, and I can go and tell her my problems, my concerns, and she's stable enough in your own self. First of all, you just seem to me always so confident, and you're okay with growing, but you're always okay with who you are too. So I've always really just personally admired that about you. So thanks for that. And I know that you're that for a lot of other people, whether, you know, people kind of articulate that or not. So I guess, you know, when I was watching you from afar kind of develop out everything, it seemed really, and I know it probably wasn't, but I just wanted to ask you, it seemed easy for you. And I know that you weren't an online, you know, person making videos, like you have your real people, your real community. So, you know, how did you feel about, you know, that maybe you said a little bit about, you wanted everything to be perfect and not kind of mess up, but how did you kind of go from, all right, we have to kind of get into this new structure, and how did you maybe get over that fear of needing it to look a certain way to everything's going to be okay, I'm just going to connect in this new way now?
Well, yeah, really a good question, and thank you for saying these things. And I mean, yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned it, and I'm glad that I can be that person for you, and also for other people, because it matters a lot to me to be able to be there. And I think despite all those difficulties and those hurdles and those craziness, I think I'm quite a solid person, just saying that I just kind of trust myself doing things, and I try to keep my senses very sharpened and staying very focused, so that I always know what's going on around me, so I can also filter, okay, what is important, what is priority, and what is not priority, and is it very necessary now to get messed up in my brain and to freak out, or is it maybe for later, and right now I'm choosing to do something else. And I mean, it seems to be easy. I mean, it's Facebook, it's Instagram, it's pictures, and we all know that we tend to choose pictures that motivate people as well. I mean, from my point of view, I don't choose the positive pictures to give a picture that I don't feel. I post pictures when I think, okay, that really comes out of my soul now, and I feel this handstand now, because this handstand is not a handstand, it's something else. I tell the people, okay, when you do a handstand, it's not that you're not a better person, but maybe it feels good for your spine, and it just gives you the strength. And even in this times, you may choose different ways to express yourself to gain this back, to gain the strength again. So when you, like you said, when it looked easy, it wasn't always easy, but I chose to just go with the flow kind of, and to stick to myself, and to keep on trusting myself, and just, I have to admit, I have this advantage, like you and all the community people and all the people who love Strala yoga, that we have this yoga to lift us up. And I really chose to take this and to use it. And so, and for this, and taking this and using it, luckily I had people to follow along, and so we all lifted us up together, and it made us grow and stay strong. And that's maybe a reason.
Oh, it's beautiful. You know, and just kind of putting together this idea of guides and sharing things, you know, and I felt this way for so long, that I get to meet so many people through trainings and just through traveling. Mike's walking around. Real life, you know, this is what it is. Is it, I was, something you said a moment ago was interesting to me, because when we're leading classes in real life, that's the only chance, right? You can't back up and do it again. But, you know, I think it's interesting, you know, because I feel this way too, when you're putting yourself kind of out there on a video, on a live class, you know, and I think this might be good for other people to hear, that different kind of pressure, maybe more of a pressure is there. And do you feel that? I mean, I know you've been leading yoga for a long time. I've been leading yoga for a long time, but you know, there is that different kind of feeling to it from okay, I'm doing this and I want to do a good job and I'm excited about it. But yeah, that just seems really interesting to me, because obviously you can't rewind life when you're in the middle of a class, but no. There's that push and pull of an instinct to, well, I clicked the button and now I'm here and I can't go back, and they're there. And there's this maybe, you know, interesting thing to explore there. So do you feel that as well?
Of course, exactly. But it's been changing throughout this, let's call it Corona time. In the beginning, like I said, it was like, okay, this is completely new. And I had, people can tell, issues with my microphone until I found the best microphone. It took me 5,000 Amazon orders. I can't even remember. Wow. So, yeah, and to find the light, the perfect light and stuff and everything. So it takes a while, but it was also a shift in my mindset, that going back from this, I never had actually the mindset that I have to be perfect, but it changed totally, because you discover a new area, online yoga, and you don't know what to do. And then at some point you found your mic and you found your microphone and you found your lights and everything, and then it worked out. So it doesn't freak me out anymore. The total, I mean, the opposite maybe, because right now it's only online, and yeah, I feel totally safe, and people just, they like it. And I think my yoga also changed during the Corona time, because once you're online and you do every move, everything, you just don't walk around the room and just do something. You do everything, and you feel more. I got this impression that I feel more. So now the flows are even more spontaneous. They just coming out of my blood, my DNA, whatever. I just don't announce anymore. It's relaxed, it's energized, it's something. It's lunch break flow Strala, and it's morning time Strala. So it's just, you know, and people, okay, they just do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, once you feel it more, then you can, take the flow, so to say.
No, that makes sense to me. You know, it's funny because our routine here, even in the beginning of the pandemic, I said to Mike, okay, like this quarantine, this is going to happen. You know, we're New Yorkers, so we were kind of, you know, the buzz going around was, oh, it's going to be a 2-week kind of hang around at home, take the time off, bake some banana bread, whatever, you know, and then that's not, you know, we thought, oh, you know, Italy, that's so horrendous, China, that's so horrendous, you know, lots of, you know, sadness, but you know, that's just not, it's not happening here. So when it did, I remember turning to Mike and saying, okay, this is what I need for me, you know, just being like, okay. And also leaning into what we all, you know, for me, the Strala community is exactly what you said. It's sort of, we have this way that we like to practice yoga. I mean, it sounds so corny, but we want to practice in a way that feels better and moving well and all the things that we all do. But then we also have this community where when we don't do that, we can either just look at somebody's, you know, message that they shared or phone a friend or get on a WhatsApp or, you know, lean into somebody, anybody, you know, like I've leaned into you so many times without even you knowing. I've just looked at your stuff. Like, Joanna's a rock, Joanna's a rock, Joanna's a rock, you know? Yeah.
The German rock.
Not to bother you with it until now I'm bothering you, you know, but that's that feeling of, okay, I need to do yoga every day with people in some regard. So, you know, I started doing the silly little class on Instagram just for myself, you know, not to be like, this is some business plan and I'm gonna, you know, none of us are really like that in our community, you know, good or bad, but it all kind of works itself out too. And, you know, it became really essential for me to have that time for myself to practice, but also in a way communicating with others, you know, before and after the class. There's more time online to chat and do messages and voicemails and all those kinds of things that we get, you know, in our kind of classes before and after in in real life. So, you know, Mike's noticed with me, he's like, you've been progressing more, you know, just to be corny about it, like in your yoga, you've been more connected, more centered, more aware in your life. And I'm like, yeah, I feel that way, but I haven't had enough time go by to actually reflect and be like, am I actually doing something good for myself? Or am I just kind of holding on to the tree and like hoping not to get blown away? So, you know, I'm really thankful that we have, you know, a practice that we can do that, but also this, you know, the community is just as important for folks. And I think even if you're not a Strala community person, you know, having a community that you can lean into and lean on, but also having your own thing that you do to feel better. It's sort of that twofold process, you know. So I've just been thinking about that so much, and how, you know, we need that process in order to feel like we can have some sense of, you know, self-control and not be completely, you know, blown around in the storm of it all.
Yes, definitely. And you mentioned this, in my eyes, also a very important point, that once you don't, or once you stop maybe, or probably we all don't do this really, but once you start to just embrace things and don't put them into a business category and into a self-care and me time category, let's call it like this, me time. I don't really like the word, but you know what I mean.
Sure.
It's us time, but still, you know. And yeah, if you don't put this in those categories, everything is like just, yeah, it's together. And then what I figured, you just do not need so much energy to do things. You just do things. Like you said, you do this Instagram flow and people follow. If they don't, they don't, because you did something for yourself. And this was also when people tell me, okay, do you really do the lunch break flow now? But we're only 2 people. I'm saying, please, I want to do yoga. Please stay with me. And they're like, okay, thank you. So I'm like, okay, no, my lunchtime is later. So please stay with me, because I don't want to eat now. And they're like, okay, thank you. And I said, well, I understand that you say thank you, but actually I have to thank you to just stay with me. And this is, yeah, and when people, I mean, it's very much like you said, that we are all at home, more or less, no? And gyms are closed, everything is closed in every country, I guess. And so people are at home, and I always, when they ask me, what can I do at home? I need you, I need your class, because otherwise, and I always repeat the same things. It's like, just breathe and then just move. And even if you only do some single simple movements, it just come from the inside out, and then you feel better. And I think that also not only me, but all the people doing Strala, they also progress with their routines, because there's no one who says in class, oh, this is not good, this is not good. They are just doing it to feel better. And I think this is this is good about this, that people trust themselves maybe more. I don't know, it's just a feeling. Yeah, it's
going to be amazing when we, you know, get together in person again and kind of feel that out for the first time and observe each other and all of that. But I love what you said about you know, from the organizing yourself as somebody who shares as a leader, and how you know, get rid of the focusing on the goal so much, or focusing on a business so much, and oh, I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this. You know, I think there's some secret in there to avoiding burnout too, because how you said you're doing it because it feels nice for you, and if it doesn't feel nice for you, then you crumple that up and go over here and do more of this. And you know, I've found that also. I was talking to a friend the other day, and he said, well, don't you get disappointed when things don't work out? And I said, well, I expect things not to work out, because they usually don't, you know. And it sounds like you too. And if you're doing something from the inside, you're going to have more access to your energy. So you're going to be doing so many more things. So enough of them will work out eventually, at least. And it sounds like our experience to sustain you. And of course you have your goals, and you have your ideas of where you want to go. That's already there, but you don't need to focus on them while you're doing your practice, while you're leading. And so much of the goal doesn't need to be in the ingredient of the art that you're sharing. And I think that's, you know, maybe another huge lesson for leaders out there to avoiding burnout. Make sure what you're doing is coming from the inside, and that way you're sharing and you're getting too, instead of, you know, giving and feeling exhausted at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can say it very, of course, very, very good and very fluent, and I totally agree. That's the point. And yeah, sometimes, you know, I still hesitated, but now, yeah, it's been probably also a lesson from the Corona times, because I hesitated, or I tend to hesitate because, you know, in my university times, in my normal job times, you know, in economics, marketing stuff, it's been always about like being structured, like really German attitude things. You know what I mean? It's like being structured.
No, both of my parents have German ancestors, so I grew up with it without realizing it, and now, you know, it makes a lot of sense to me. It's also just like very, you know, many cultures, just like, you know, if you live in the country and you go far enough back with somebody's grandmother, like you're going to have the same values as, you know, the simplicity that you're talking about. So
Yes,
I think it's universal.
It is universal, probably, but sometimes it kind of tightens the things, and it doesn't, you know, let you expand, you know, expand. And I used to hesitate and to have doubts with myself when I was in normal jobs, because everything needs to be planned. There were numbers, there was money, there was everything, and I'm like, oh gosh, I just don't like planning so much. I prefer to just do things, but it doesn't fit so much to this structured German work. And now, when people like ask me, okay, what is your strategy? And how did you do the Corona and the marketing attitude and the communication strategy? I'm like, I didn't have a strategy. I just don't. I never have a strategy. And that's maybe coming back to the point I mentioned a little bit earlier in our talk. When I feel that my senses are sharpened, I just realize, I think I realize, I'm wrong oftentimes, but sometimes I'm right. And then I realize what is going on and what may make sense. And then I just do this. And if it doesn't make sense, nobody cares. I mean, we're not the president of a country. It's like, you know, it's like, so yeah, and then there's a strategy, maybe an obvious strategy, but actually it wasn't a strategy. It's just doing things, and yeah, it's okay.
Oh, no, I love it. And for those, you know, and your strategy works. I mean, you know, every time I've seen you in Berlin, you've brought your students, your friends, your people are they're real and they're there, and it's vibrant and it's beautiful. So, you know, I think it's just a good lesson for maybe people starting out too, that have these goals. And it's so scary now with the internet and people trying to sell you all kinds of different ways to do every single thing of your strategy, you know?
Yes,
so,
definitely.
you know, I think, you know, if we can take a lesson from you and, you know, do the things that you're excited about, and you'll have more energy to try more things. And, you know, then some of the things will end up, you know, feeling good and expanding. So I think that's a great lesson.
Exactly. And also, I mean, the Instagram world, more than Facebook, I don't think I don't know if Facebook is still so present and so important for people, but more likely the Instagram, I think, because it's full of pictures and people showing themselves. And some people, they ask, oh, aren't you tired of using Instagram? And isn't it maybe sometimes like that you feel, because everyone is 20 years younger, and I don't know, what filter do you use? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm not tired of using it, because it's like you said, it's communication with people I just like. And so, I mean, yeah, maybe if you see it through lenses that give you more this, oh, just take it easy, it's only Instagram, it's nothing big. And if you have not good hair day, it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't. So, yeah. But I don't know if it's dangerous, Instagram, I don't know. I think you should just use it, be careful with using it, and if you don't like to use it, just drop it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, I think that's great advice. And, you know, I think you're a good role model too, because I think of, you know, it's so corny how we had this tagline, online is great, in person is magic. And then all this happens, you know, it just kind of became our community way we would talk to each other, you know, because we would get together in person and then go home and then communicate online or do this or that. That's how we stay in touch. But, you know, I think there's a beautiful, you know, kind of balance to having the, you know, the online and in person. And it doesn't need to be for everybody. Like you said, you don't need to use all the tools, you know, all the crayons in the crayon box. And, you know, if you can just connect with yourself and breathe and be really simple and do one thing that you love really well, then it's going to flourish. And I think that's, you know, a huge relief for so many people, you know, that kind of, I don't know if you feel this way, but I think every generation feels this way. You know, I mean, I started making videos on YouTube, but I was also leading classes in person. But a lot of people that don't know me think, oh, you're that girl from YouTube 100 years ago. You know, and I'm like, yeah, pretty much. But also, you know, online was great for me because I got to meet people that were watching those videos that were more interested in practicing with me that way. And I could travel and then meet some of those people, you know, or find out if it was just my mom really at the end of the day clicking on all the videos. But, you know, I think it's totally a different world of, you know, buying followers and doing things to get followers. And it's all about not even what you put up, but it's how other people see what you put up, which has got to be so stressful for people who care about that, or for people who maybe weren't told by, you know, by somebody they admire that they don't need to care. So I really love that you said that, because it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. And, you know, the more people that can use whatever technology is there to just share the thing that's beautiful that they care about. And just like in real life, you don't have 1,000 people coming to your yoga class. You have, you know, 10 or 20 or maybe 30.
That's the point. That's the point. Yes, exactly.
You know, that would be weird if there was 1,000 people lining up outside. What would you do with them? You can't fit them in your room. So
that's exactly,
you know, why do we need the internet to have, you know, 80 million people following our every step? And why is that a validation? So I think, you know, it's really liberating what you said of do what is interesting to you, what you love, and forget about the rest, because it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I mean, I totally agree, because the internet is only a part of the reality. Actually, in my eyes, reality happens now in the moment you are in the moment. So, I mean, when you post something or when you write something, it's in the past, it's gone. I mean, you can delete it, but you had the impulse to say something, so why deleting it? It's there. But what matters in my eyes very much is that you, even though when you're very online and you're posting here, posting there, doing things to communicate, that you never forget that what really matters is your doing and your acts, actually, what you're doing, how you treat your family, how you are with your kids and with your friends, not online also. And if this doesn't match, if this is different from each other, it doesn't make sense so much. So yeah, I mean, in this time, in this Corona time, it was, besides all the online and the yoga, the family, coming back to more centered with a family is also a very, very important issue in my eyes. You probably agree.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, I think that's right on. And yeah, it's, you know, in a way, in the beginning, it's kind of, Mike and I were talking, it's fast forwarded our idea of where we wanted to be as a family, in, you know, where we thought, oh, 2 years we'll slow down, we'll move to the country, we'll have a different kind of base than the busy. But it really, you know, had a way of making us look at, well, why aren't we doing what we want to do now? And, you know, and who's to stop us? And, you know, what's in the way? And, you know, what's the real motivation? Is it, you know, is it family, or is it ego, or is it, you know, a little bit of both? Or like you said, with that balance between online and in person, are we being dragged around by our idea of who we think we should be? Or are we just allowing ourselves to be who the heck we want to be, and letting the world, you know, catch up to that. And, you know, I've noticed when I let the world catch up to that, or at least give myself a little more bravery, you know, the world is happier with that version of me than, you know, the 2014, 2015 version of me where I was like, oh, I'm so excited, I'm going to go here and do all this stuff. And that was great. I don't regret the busy phases, but also it makes me think about it quite differently now.
Sure, but it's been a period of time that is a part of you, and I mean we've all been there, you know. Yeah. And like I said, yoga has changed. I mean, we are getting older, and so it's and not older like in an older body and feeling old, but also wiser and maybe more focused on what really matters. And I mean, what kind of, I mean, I'm not angry or whatever, but what kind of really annoys me sort of is this talking and this posting and news things and articles full of, now we can focus on what really matters and minimalism and, you know, this. And I'm saying, didn't you get it before? I mean, why now? Why must we have a horrible pandemic that you realize what matters in your life? I don't know. This is, in my eyes, not so nice marketing about the situation. I don't know how to express it. Maybe you know what.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you know, we know from yoga, a lot of people come to yoga or start eating healthy after a huge life crisis happens. They have a personal, like, oh, you know, some relative of mine got this disease, so I don't want to get this disease, or, you know, I'm unhealthy and I need to be healthy, or I lost my job, or I lost my relationship. And then they come to this, and this is kind of like a global thing at the same time. So it's sort of, I agree with you. There's a lot of, you know, we're all feeling that desire for family and simplicity, but we're also being marketed, oh, have this, do this, buy this thing to be more simple. Really. Slow down, and, you know, 5 fruits that'll help you through the virus, you know, or whatever it is. Yeah, even with this, you know, chat with, I don't like using the word, any word that relates to pandemic or corona, or, you know, I can't even type them out in a social media post. It just feels like I would do it sometimes, even talking about this with you, like leading, like, how are we doing now, as opposed to like leading through the pandemic of 2020. You know, it just seems like, oh my God, I can't. I like started typing it out because that's what I wanted to talk to you about, but it's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about, you know, being in the present and dealing with the struggles, but we're not, you know, trying to solve anybody's how they should do things. So
exactly. I mean, you're always responsible for yourself. And once you are responsible for yourself, you are automatically taking care of the people around you. I mean, we all have our families, and I don't think, or I doubt, that we're all doing yoga with our families 24 hours a day. So it's, I mean, yoga, we know this, that can help us with our communication, with our focusing on things and widening our eyes, our senses, and to just, you know, to know what's going on. And for me, I mean, this optimism and this staying positive about this year 2020 is just because I know that there are a lot of people there that I call friends, and we all like the same things, and we are all healing using this tool, and it's that easy. And we don't have we can't manage all the things in life, but a few things we can manage it. And so let's do this. Let's put our hands on it and go for it, and then we progress.
I love it.
Maybe.
Oh my gosh. So good. Wow. Well, I should let you go. I think this has been awesome. Lots to, you know, take in and learn for me. Thank you. I just wanted to talk to you also selfishly. So thank you so much. And we'll share this everywhere. And Yeah,
Sure.
thanks for being here, and see you soon when we see each other again. I know it'll happen. So
It will.
great.
It will. Thank you so much, Tara, for having
thank
me,
you.
inviting me to your home. Say hi to your family.
Of course, yeah. Same way. Okay.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. See you soon. Thank you for
Take
making
care.
this time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.